Welcome everyone to this session of Amplifying Her Voice, because together we are stronger. And I'm going to show you how Women in Blockchain Talks is amplifying this message. And in amplifying this message, how we are amplifying the many dynamic voices in this space, and how together, and this has been exemplified and illustrated by previous sessions, the sessions that we've just had, via our male champions, because it's about togetherness. Before we are a gender, we are humans first. So I'm all about inclusivity, diversity, 100%, of course, but it's about us working together and having male champions. And I definitely have that in the people around me, in my community, my collaborators. And so this is what I'm going to be touching upon in this presentation. And so the name of this presentation is 50,000 Women in Blockchain. And I'm going to explain exactly what that means. But we're going to be focusing even within that context, we're going to be focusing on three key things here. And the first thing is the campaign, which is the 50,000 Women in Blockchain, and community, and collaboration, because these three things makes us stronger together. So let me share my screen now so you can see the presentation. Okay, so let me just check to see if I put it on the slide share, if the slides move, because I know sometimes they don't. So from beginning. Just waiting for it to do its technical thing. All right. Dave, can you please tell me if the slides are moving?
Yes, they were progressing.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the presentation is all about 50,000 women into blockchain. We know that blockchain is here to stay. We know that crypto is here to stay. But we also know there is an issue with gender, the gender gap, with the inequalities around women in this space, women in finance, women in tech. It's not something new, but there seems to be an effort within this space, blockchain, that is very much focused on decreasing the gender gap. And of course, running a platform such as Women in Blockchain Talks, that is one of our key focuses, not only to bring women into this space and let them know about the opportunities here, with it, whether it be with crypto or with it to do with a blockchain career. The objective is to also reduce the gender gap, because again, we're stronger together, and also it's been proven, many times over, that diversity adds more to the bottom line. Also, this technology, as I just touched upon, is here to stay. And so we want to have diverse and inclusive voices so that it represents the world in which we live in. So 50,000 women into blockchain is not about bringing 50,000 women into blockchain, because obviously there's already women in blockchain. It's about bringing in 50,000 more women. And the objective for me, or one of my objectives in this campaign, is to bring in new women, maybe job returners, women who are looking to change their career or to pivot into blockchain, but they just don't know how. It's also for those women who don't know about blockchain. They might have heard the word, but they're like, what is it? and they want to know, but they just don't know where to go. And there's that saying, you don't know what you don't know. So this campaign is about reaching out to them, and how we chose to power this campaign is via a quiz. And there's different avatars. There's 5 different avatars, and I won't tell you all of them. You need to take the quiz in order to see what they are. But ultimately, in taking the quiz, you also just get a little bit of a lesson, a little bit more of an understanding of what blockchain is. And then the end results, ultimately, it will give you a pathway, depending on the avatar that you end up with, and also introduce you to our free community, which is full of many people who have been in this space for a long time, mentors, people who just want to help and uplift the community, and like myself, want to help decrease the gender gap, as well as just bringing talent. Let's remember, this blockchain is about talent. It's innovative. There's so much to be discovered. It's so fast paced. Every time you learn one thing, there's something new to learn. And so it makes it very exciting, but we need the talent for blockchain to really fulfill its potential. And that talent comes in different forms and different faces and from different people across the world. And we want to see it all reflected in this brilliant space. So that is what the campaign is all about. And as the hashtag says, creating space for all. And we want you to craft your own future in blockchain, rather than allowing other people to tell you what you can be or not be in this awesome space. So who am I? Some of you know me, some of you don't. My name is Lavinia Osborne. I'm the founder and the host of Women in Blockchain Talks. And as I state here, when it comes to diversity and inclusion, it's time to stop talking and start doing. Getting behind this campaign is the doing. So I've been in blockchain now from 2017. My background is financial well-being, money mindfulness. And so when you're talking to people about their relationship with money, you always touch on the past, the present, and the future. And of course, when you're talking about the future of money, we're touching on decentralized digital currency, decentralized digital currency. And of course, that looks like cryptocurrency. And that is how I came into the space. Like many people, it's through the introduction of Bitcoin. But when I first heard about it, I had no idea how to purchase Bitcoin or how to get into the crypto space. I just heard about it. I knew about it. And then I started hearing about blockchain, and I understood blockchain was a technology that underpins cryptocurrency. So without that technology, then there is no Bitcoin, there is no transaction, because there's no decentralized digital ledger in order to record that digital asset, or the transaction of that, or the exchange even of that digital asset. And I was just intrigued by this technology, and more importantly, the social impact that seemed to be prevalent around it, the conversations about social impact and financial inclusion. And those sorts of conversations really speaks to my spirit, and that spirit of wanting to make a difference in this world in my own small way. Or should I say, in my own small, powerful way, because we as beings are powerful. Our words are powerful. Our actions are powerful. And it has an impact on the world around us. Even if it's just our small part of the world, it has an impact. So I came into this space, and thankfully I had some good people who pointed me in the right direction, who gave me the belief when I didn't have the belief in myself, that I could be a woman in blockchain, not necessarily a woman in tech, because I'm not technical, I'm non-technical, but I'm an entrepreneur. And this space needs entrepreneurs, you need visionaries, you need futurists. And then of course you have the engineers and you have the tech people who also have ideas, but ultimately they like to implement. They need leadership, or they like leadership, so that they can then implement the idea and be part of something that makes a difference. So that is basically who I am. And the Women in Blockchain Talks ecosystem. So Women in Blockchain Talks itself has been going for, this September will be 2 years. I can't believe it. It's moved so quickly. So month 20 we're in, more or less, or month 19. I'm not the greatest at maths, hence why I'm not technical. And we have grown so much in the last year. We obviously, well, not obviously, but we started off with a meetup, a monthly meetup. And then when the pandemic hit, we pivoted online to virtual meetups, and that just expanded our world. And we basically interview women. The essence of Women in Blockchain Talks is female focused, female led, but ultimately we are inclusive, so men are very much welcome in our community. We want to help everybody, and of course marginalized groups as well. And so off the back of that, the flagship monthly event is where we interview 2 dynamic women in the space. And so yesterday I had an event, and I had Ryan Rugg from IBM and Mary Camacho from Hello. And so we're always looking out for women who are out there, who are making a difference, and who are willing to make a difference to our community, the people in our community. So that's the flagship monthly event. We have a free community where you can network and meet these dynamic individuals, plus other individuals, because there's many of them in this community, in this space. We have an exclusive membership, a weekly podcast, website, guest blogging program, to, some people like to write, and we want to give a voice. But remember, this event is all about amplifying her voice. And there's different ways of amplifying your voice. You don't actually have to use your voice. You can use your voice through your writing. We have community Zoom calls on financial education and taxes and other relevant subjects pertaining to blockchain and crypto, of course, or digital or crypto assets. We have masterclasses. Our next one is a live event on creating your own NFTs, which, NFTs are in the news all the time. It's very topical. It will continue to be topical. And it's also a great way of creating wealth. And we're doing that in collaboration, partnership, support of Rarible, which is one of the top NFT platforms in this space. And that event is happening Wednesday, the 28th of July. For those who want to know more, then please, follow me afterwards, and I'll be able to give you further information. And then, of course, we have the campaign, which I just touched upon, which is powered by the quiz. And then off the back of the campaign, we've just launched a job board. So we are growing and moving very quickly because we see the needs in the community and we want to provide it. We're solution orientated, and also we want to have fun because blockchain is fun. So welcome to the 50K campaign. And as touched upon, the campaign encompasses a quiz, a job board. We're launching a global leadership program, global Women in Blockchain Talks chapters, and a hackathon in collaboration with the Global Blockchain Hackathon Alliance. And that is happening in October. And so if you want to know more, then, head to the quiz, take the quiz, and the link I will share in the chat in a moment. So how can you get involved with this campaign? Well, first of all, take the quiz. You can share our posts, so Women in Blockchain Talks posts regarding the campaign and the quiz with your communities and network. You can like and comment on our posts via social media. You can share your opinions on the campaign by blogging or vlogging about it. Vlogging, of course, is video blogging. Get behind this campaign and post by using the hashtag creating space for all. Invite me to speak on your podcast, event platform, and or community. Write blogs or content to share with our community using the hashtag above. Get involved with our free community by posting, sharing opportunities, offering mentorship or guidance. Share our next Women in Blockchain Talks flagship event with guest speakers. And the next one is on Wednesday, the 21st of July. And tell your followers to take the quiz. Tell them to get involved and show them how they can get involved as well. Because again, and I will be repeating this quite often, Together we are stronger, stronger together. Oh, I don't know what happened there. But this is the Women in Blockchain Talks team. And we have Kelly, who is our business and events manager. We have Quinn, and you will meet her in a moment. And Quinn is our community engagement manager. We've got Sherry Mao. And interestingly enough, Kelly and I are both based in the UK. Quinn is based in the US. Sherry May, she's based in the US. And she's our content creator. We've got Chris Cully, the one guy in our team, and we're very happy to have him. He's our audio and visual editor based in the UK. We have John Lavelle, who is one of our advisories, and she's just international. And Linda Goetz, and she is with us today, and she is also one of our advisors. So I'd like to bring onto the stage, invite onto the stage Quinn and Linda.
Happy to be here.
Awesome sauce. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hello. So, of course, this presentation is about campaign. We've just talked about the campaign. Now let's talk about community and the importance of community, not just within Women in Blockchain Talks, but just within the blockchain space. When I first came into this, it was one of the key things I saw was community. So community around a project. So one of the first projects I was involved in, it was called the Pillar Project. And it was all about community, getting involved with the community. And it always surprised me how much people did get behind the project, you know, and they were so charged. So Quinn, I'd like to start with you. You know, tell us more about the importance of community in this space and why you think this makes us different from maybe other industries.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And I'm just excited to be here and talking with all of you wonderful ladies and Chris. So when it comes to community, I think that is a huge part of blockchain. I mean, when I was really first trying to get into this space and trying to find my own role in this new industry, I was really, you know, it was one thing to actually find educational resources and tools and learn about the technology. But then there was a whole other side of, well, who do I actually know in this space? And it was very few people. So I had to go out and actually engage and find community. And I feel like, especially when it comes to women, that's a huge part of bringing more in, making this space, this new innovative space, more inclusive for all. Like you said, not just women, men, all genders, but then even going beyond that, making sure that it's inclusive globally when it comes to languages. You know, a lot of the educational tools that are online right now are in English. So how can we get more people involved from around the world by translating into different languages? And so it's been, you know, I actually first came into Women in Blockchain Talks on actually International Women's Day. You had an event, and right away, that was like my first experience of having a community of women in this space. I had been in other communities where it was, you know, not as female focused, and it felt like the community just really embraced every new person, and you know, that warm welcome is a huge deal when I think a lot of anyone really who has ever felt imposter syndrome, it's really nice to have someone kind of pull you in and say, you belong here, let's help you find your space. So to me, the community is a huge, huge part, and I'm really honored to be able to work with you in various different ways to figure out how to really best engage community. But then, so through education, right? So actually teaching them through master classes and all these different events that we have, speakers and whatnot. But then beyond that, creating initiatives that really help our community actually get involved, right? Participate and find out where they really belong. So whether that's leadership or it's coding or whatever they want to do, we want to offer initiatives for them to be able to do so. So I'm really excited about a few of the initiatives that we've been working on, specifically just trying to figure out, because everyone learns things differently. Everyone feels their passion gets ignited in a different way, right? So in learning, it could be audio, visual, you know, lots of different ways. So not only are we creating content and basically opportunities for people to network in a way that is best for them to be able to really absorb all the information and really connect with other people. But these initiatives that we've been working on, like one of them is the ambassador program, right? So if you're already got a following and whatnot, we want you to be an ambassador where you're saying, hey, I really am doing my part in my own way, using my platform to really amplify her voice. And no matter what you look like, no matter, who you love or where you come from, that's what we want, right? And so we want people from all different worlds to encourage people to come into this space, and be here for the right reasons and find their spot, their role. The other initiative that we've been working on as well is community focus project. So really trying to find a project for our community to work on together. If someone's maybe a little bit more entrepreneurial and really wants to try to create something, how can we give them that experience, right? How can we actually bring people together with their various different skills? Because I hear a lot of times in the community, well, I need to code. Well, if you want to learn how to code, we want to encourage you to do that. But if that's not what you do, there's a space for you, and let's find a team, a diversified team. Because the more diverse a team is, the better the outcomes usually are. So finding a project for our community is going to be a really fun and exciting initiative, I think, for a lot of people. So it's really just getting them involved. And then we have chapter programs. We've actually had a lot of women reach out and say, hey, I want to do a chapter in my local area. And so, empowering people to lead in their own way by, helping support the campaign of getting 50,000 more people, more women into this space. Because the evolution of the blockchain industry is going to really be dependent on who's involved. So we want more people, and we want more leaders to bring different people in. And then finally, just making sure that we are emphasizing multilingual, really trying to translate as much as we can into various different languages, so people around the world can get involved and feel like they can be in a safe space where they can ask good questions and really connect with others within our community who have already been in blockchain or are wanting to get in their own way.
Exactly. I think multilingual is something that we forget sometimes when we talk about diversity and inclusivity. And of course, there's many very talented people out there who are looking for something, and it just happens to be in English. And so they just feel intimidated because of their language. I think it's very important to say that this campaign, all the initiatives you talk about is for the long term. This is not a come in today and it's going to be gone tomorrow. The campaign is about bringing in 50,000 women by 2023. And of course, we need all hands on deck in order to do that. And of course, we want men to come in as well. So if the campaign inspires the opposite gender or anyone, then great. But we definitely want 50,000 women. And I'm excited to see how this campaign moves forward and grows and who reaches out and becomes part of it. So with that being said, let's speak to Linda. So Linda is an advisory for us. And I think it's very important to have advisories in communities. Why? Sometimes you can if you are in the trenches doing the day-to-day, you can lose sight. Or, there's a saying, you can't see the woods through the trees. And Linda is a person who's been in this space, a professional, not even going to say a woman, just professional person who's been in this space for a number of years, and she's well known and well respected for good reasons. So please, Linda, introduce yourself and talk about the importance of being an advisory in this space and for communities like ours.
Thank you, Lavinia. And since 2012, I've been engaged and got the opportunity to connect with Lavinia directly when she was visiting over in Florida. So that was right before the COVID lockdown timeframe. So it's a wonderful feeling to connect with human beings in person, which I got to do with Quinn and Rayshawn and Gabby, all in Orlando. Again, no. Yes, it was Orlando. We met in Tampa,
yes.
Lavinia, right? And then it was okay.
Yeah.
So the whole Florida positive, human connection, both pre-COVID and post-COVID, and it is that collaborative connection, that better together ethos that I have really enjoyed being a part of. And I've had the privilege to lead the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce, which Rayshawn now leads. Had the opportunity to connect with one of Gabriella's board members today from the Global DCA. And I mean, just the connections, the touch points, this collaborative interaction that's being enabled. You can't put a price tag on it. You can't put a value on that community connection that is realized when everyone, it's not about, what I can achieve. It's if we, none of us take worry about who gets the credit, what can we collectively achieve? And I see this 50,000 Women in Blockchain as one of those initiatives that can really be rallied around by a collective, not any specific organization. And kudos to you, Lavinia, for launching it and for, being a driving impetus behind it. But we're not going to get there as an individual organization, right? We're going to get there because we inspire other organizations to put their heart and soul and effort and membership into drawing, connecting, educating women into this space. And it is truly that stronger together, better together, not just women. We do need all of the advocates and supporters. I mean, I'm super thankful that, when in 2012, I talked to my husband, and it was a couple of times, he came into the engagement with blockchain with me. So for every woman that you have at the table, you may have one man, you may have a man and their son, or a man and their father. And it's just this network of value proposition, right, that can grow as we put our energy and efforts together.
Yes. Linda, you inspire me, which is the reason why you are one of my advisories and, of course, a good friend. And I really appreciate your leadership in this space and within Women in Blockchain Talks. So that leads very nicely into introducing the collaborators, moving on from community to collaborators. And of course, it's all part of the conversation. So bear with me while I just bring up my presentation again. And Quinn is now there. Slideshow, current slide. And now she's not. So collaboration, as Linda touched on perfectly and beautifully, this campaign is not just about Women in Blockchain Talks. Yes, the vision came, I implemented it, but there have been people in this space. We always have to remember who came before us. And so I have to give kudos to Tessie Moraine, who has been a stalwart in this space. And she launched the original, as I understand it, the original Women in Blockchain community. Of course, I'm Women in Blockchain Talks, but of course the ethos premise is more or less the same, other than I would say that, my community is open to all genders. And then we have Gabrielle Coates of Global DCA, and she will talk more about what that stands for and the impact they are making in this space. Rayshawn Chambers, who is now the head of the Blockchain Chambers of Commerce, which Linda just touched upon. And we have Chris Bills. Chris Bills has been in this space for a number of years within the crypto space. And I will be talking more about the new collaboration I am creating with him, because collaborations don't stop. I have been collaborating with Tessie, with the Blockchain Chambers of Commerce via Linda, and now with Rashawn, and now I'm collaborating with Gabriella, and Chris is someone I'm going to be collaborating as well. And it's all very exciting. So let's stop the slide and go back to the presentation. Okay, so Chris, I'm going to call you on in a moment and just speak to the ladies. Thank you, Chris. So, Rashawn, Gabrielle, Tessie, let's talk about women in blockchain. And we've had some great conversations in regards to what needs to come into this space, or the sort of talent that you feel needs to come, or that needs to have a focus, especially with this 50,000 women in blockchain.
Sure. Hi. Thanks for having me. And just a quick clarification about the Women in Blockchain community that I started in 2016 is open to everyone. And it's just a female first focus. Where we differ a bit is that we are actually a always decentralized community. We run on principles, and we are like global, but we don't have like one figurehead like Lavinia is. We just like have lots of different localized groups. So that's actually very essential to us. And so we are a community movement rather than like an organization, which all is fine. And we collaborate with all types of different organizations, women of color in blockchain. There are tons of other amazing organizations, and we support everything. Yes. Because we are a community, it's very open. And so we have this flexibility, luckily. So your question, why is it important, and who is important? And yes. Okay. So our community started because there weren't any women, no women, like literally none, right? There were like tons of guys, and there were like so very few women that this was a natural thing to do. What changed ever since is there are a lot of amazing women out there now. And I'm very happy for every effort to bring in more, because yes, we need to be more. And I always make the argument of why, right? So why do we need to be there? It's not like, oh, it's so nice, to be nice to women or people of color or anything. It's not about that. It is about this is, we all, the people who work in blockchain work basically in engineering companies most of the time, right? Unless you work for a marketing company that works for a blockchain company. But most of us are in an engineering environment, and we all know blockchain, allows to build different systems and different products. We have smart contracts, we automate. A lot of this is going to happen eventually, that not everybody's auditing the smart contracts. We're building systems that have to work for other people, right? And who knows best that what doesn't work today is usually minorities, right? So those are the experts. And so who has usually access to technology first is the people who already are in a system, who already preferenced by a system. And so it's a lot of white males, and we love white males. They're smart, they're amazing. Their experience is different, right? And so my reason is always to make an argument in the context of where we are, right? And being in an engineering company, that means we're building products and systems. So it is better for the bottom line. You build systems that work for more people, and it's the thing to do, right? Because that is like, it's the future. So it is our interest to be part of it. It has to be our interest to be there now, because this is where the groundwork is being laid, right? Right now we're building a lot of infrastructure. And so that's why females have to be there and minorities have to be there, because we know what doesn't work right now in legacy systems, right? And and so I also want to make a stand for the technology itself. It's important also that we do understand the technology, right? You can't just like, not just be there and make it pretty or do this, that, and the other. We have to understand how this works. We don't have to be all programmers, engineers. But you have to understand what the value proposition is, because otherwise, even you're a writer. If you don't have this, if you don't understand what the value proposition and the urgency is, and the opportunity in blockchain, and how that can change the world and will change the world, we are losing the message, right? Because most people in the world don't know that. And once, more and more commercial interest comes in, chances are that we otherwise lose it. So we have to be the ones who are also the stewards of the message, right? The transformation message and the opportunity. And I'll stop here.
Yeah, I love that last sentence, the steward of the message. You're absolutely right. And I stand corrected. I didn't realize that women in blockchain was inclusive. I didn't know that.
Guys love it because they can relax, they don't have to be like, they can actually, it's a nice atmosphere and they're the women. Hey, it's a good thing.
Yeah. So, I so agree with Tessie, and this is why we need all these different voices, because she is technical and she knows what she's talking about. And, I think the key thing here that I just want to highlight is you don't have to be technical, but you do have to understand the technicality of blockchain. Furthermore, we are looking for people who have those skill sets, who can pivot into this space, who's willing to learn about the actual, the languages, be it Bitcoin Core, be it Solidarity, who are open to learn these, because this is what we need.
Solidity.
This is what we want. Solidity. Thank
Solidity.
you.
It's a
Solidity.
language.
Yes. And also in addition to that, I want to understand why the pipeline of C-suite women engineers, why it becomes less as it moves to the top, because obviously that is where the decisions are made, at the top. So the pipeline of having new people come in, there's a lot of activities and initiatives to get women into STEM, and that's fantastic. But what happens to the middle and then going further up the level? I want to understand that, and I'm hoping together as a collective, as a community, once again, we can start understanding what the challenges are, so that we can create solutions to help promote more women in senior levels into these decision-making roles, particularly tech roles within blockchain. Would you be in agreement with that, Tessie? You're on mute.
And I just posted actually a boot camp for Solidity and scholarships. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Before, yeah.
So definitely we need to share that. Perhaps you could share that in the chat. Maybe someone is watching or listening to this now. And of course, I have been sharing it in the Women in Blockchain Talks community as well. So with that being said, let's move on to Rayshawn. Rayshawn, talk to me about the Blockchain Chambers of Commerce. What is the mission, and how are you collaborating with all the different communities, such as Tessie's Women in Blockchain and Women in Blockchain Talks?
Thank you for having me, Lavinia, on this panel. I'm so excited. It's hard for me to just sit here and just kind of sit and wait, because I am bubbling with excitement right now. This campaign that you are spearheading right now, the 50,000 women, really we know, right? 50,000 more women in blockchain, by 2023. I'm very excited for the part that the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce will be able to play in conjunction with this entire rollout, because we need this in our community. So I just had to get that out so now I can actually talk. Hello, everyone. My name is Rayshawn Chambers, and I have the pleasure of being the CEO and president of the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce. And everything that you've heard today, you keep hearing these different words and they keep popping up: collaboration, awareness. I even heard adoption, and I just started tingling all over, because that is, really our social mandate at the Chamber. We truly strive as a collective to be sure that we are raising awareness about the technology, about the many uses of blockchain, and we're talking about how we can facilitate the adoption. We want to inspire advocacy. That's really the crux of what we make our decisions around. Who do we make our alliances with? How do we collaborate? How will this best benefit our members, but also our communities that we seek to serve? So we are a trade association to which people join, and we partner with them based on who they are, what they want to do, and what changes they're trying to make in this space, how the chamber can best help them facilitate that mission, right? So anybody who does know me know that I come from over 20 years of electronic payments processing. I come from payments space, so my mind works that way. I thought about when I came into this space, that was one of the attracting factors for me. And so as I kind of matriculated through, I actually became an educator. So like Linda and a few others, I'm sure that people have heard from today, I have that opportunity to bring what I know, of course, from corporate America and merge that with my educator's background and look to bring the best of engagements with people around the world. So we have members that are in different parts of the country. They are across the globe. And we're excited to be able to not just say that, but to live that out loud. What does that look like? How are they being served? How are their communities being served? And so we like to champion those efforts at the chamber. So I definitely want to share that. But if I can also say, Lavinia, to the audience, I want anybody that's listening right now, right? And you're thinking, man, this might be a little bit too technical for me, or I'm not sure how I'm going to grasp this, or where do I fit? I want to remind you about the quiz, right? So you want to take the quiz and you figure out which of those avatars you connect with so that you can be placed on the best track for you to see how you want to plug in terms of blockchain. But I also want to encourage you, right? Because as you've heard even said a few times today, not everyone is technical, but you do need to understand it. So if I had to simplify that a bit, I'd say, well, maybe we had a flip phone and people didn't necessarily know after they moved from a flip phone to a smartphone, what technology got that phone to work. But you did at least have to learn how you make calls on this smartphone now. And then guess what else? It does other stuff that your other phone didn't do. So if I would, encourage people who may still feel a bit intimidated, I want to just help you simplify your thought process to just get to the point where you first focus on what you love. If you're not keen on what you love, you won't like it at all anyway. You won't connect with it, and that's just human nature, right? Mm-hmm. So find the one thing that you love and then investigate how blockchain is influencing, impacting, or otherwise restructuring that love that you have. If that's nursing, if that's hospitality, if that's government, real estate, all of these, legal, all of these have a place in blockchain. So by no means should you feel ostracized. Yes, you will need to upskill a little bit, but who does it, right? We're all having to upskill somewhere. But at the same time, please don't allow that to be a barrier. There's absolutely a place for you, and more importantly, for you to pursue your passion in a turned up way. So I'm excited about that. And I just hope that everybody really takes that away from what we're sharing today, the purpose and the foundation.
Oh, thank you so much, Rashawn, and bless you. I was going to say, if you're listening to this and you're already part of the team, the blockchain team, then share it with those in your community, because that is what this is about. Sometimes we hear a message and the message is not necessarily for us, but it is for you to share with people around you. Yeah. Sharing is caring, as they say. So with that being said, let's move on to Gabrielle. Gabrielle, how are you today?
Good. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. So tell us more about the Global DCA. What does it stand for, and what are you doing in the space and the impact you're making?
Sure. So we're established as a global self-regulation association, which means that we focus on developing standards, on educating, raising awareness of both blockchain technology and its application in the digital asset space. We have roughly 30 members, and our focus is really on building a broad, inclusive-based membership that helps to reflect and represent all aspects of the digital asset ecosystem. And the way that we have structured our membership has been intentional to allow for inclusion of both micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as entities around the world. And that is reflected in our member fee structure, as well as in our participation and inclusion on various committees, boards, and events and activities. Our focus has recently, emphasized very heavily ensuring that there is a constructive narrative around the digital asset space, and also working on building bridges with other organizations such as the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce, Women in Blockchain Talks, and other organizations that share a similar vision on having a very inclusive, representative, and reflective industry. Because at the end of the day, whoever is involved in this space will be influencing the shape of different tools, protocols, products, services. And if we're not involved in the design, development, and conversation around those products, services, and tools, then at the end of the day, it's much more likely that they will be built not serve all of us, but could potentially be constructed in a way that continues to incorporate or embody some of the structural issues that we see as challenges, both in regards to gender equity as well as in regards to racial equity, and I would also say global equity. And so these are key aspects of a lot of the work, the policy positions, and the engagement that we've sought to undertake. And so along those lines, we've been very active and interested in particular in raising awareness regarding job opportunities that we see coming forward, and ensuring that our members understand and are connected to some of the very excellent resources that you all have established regarding job boards, regarding, making different candidates with diverse backgrounds aware of some of the opportunities, and ensuring that, we're not creating a closed system, but in fact plugging into a lot of the different avenues and outlets that already exist in order to ensure that that message of inclusion doesn't just stay a message, but actually gets carried forward into the actions and impacts that we have in society around us and for the benefit of the industry as a whole. So that's kind of a very high level overview. But, this is something, similar to Rayshawn, as well as Linda and everyone else on this panel, that I have been an active promoter on. My background is a little bit different. I myself didn't start in technology. I'm actually in the area of international economic and financial sector development, and previously working for the World Bank. So, regardless as to where I've worked, the past 17 years have focused on, poverty reduction and shared prosperity, which has always included a gender dimension, and working to build, previously an accounting and auditing profession that's reflective and inclusive of all different participants. And now, moving on and sharing that talent, those skills, and, the technical assistance that I've done in that space here in the blockchain community. So very happy to be here, very happy to share, what we've done, what we're looking to do, and to contribute and to collaborate to have an even greater impact going forward.
Awesome, Gabrielle. So DCA, what does DCA stand for?
Sure. So we're the Global Cryptocurrency Association. And so our vertical is very strongly focused on, obviously, digital assets. But, in order to encourage and to ensure that we're collaborating and engaging, we're very pleased to be working with and cooperating with the Blockchain Chamber of Commerce and other organizations that talk about the underlying technology of blockchain technology, and to ensure that, we share our knowledge and that we're able to contribute to an overall shift and inclusive atmosphere for the blockchain technology industry.
So here's a question for you before you go. Do you think there are two camps, like over the years, do you think there's been two camps where people are just focused on the blockchain and others are focused on crypto rather than other digital assets? And do you think that is a good thing, or do you think what are your thoughts on it, basically?
Sure. So I can speak to, just the I guess, mentality or the focus of our members specifically. But, from our side, we see the two as obviously intrinsically linked. However, the application of blockchain can be in the aerospace industry. It can be in agriculture. It can be in a number of different areas and touch points. We focus specifically on the digital asset space, but because of the fact that the blockchain technology is the backbone and foundation of what we do in the cryptocurrency and digital asset space, it's important for us to be plugged into that and to be encouraging general awareness, understanding, and helping to push back on any misinformation or disinformation that exists because of the power of that technology and the ability of it to both transform, what we're seeing in the financial sector, but also to be applied and utilized much more broadly for the benefit of society, economy, and so forth.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rashawn, Gabrielle, and Tessie, for sharing your thoughts, your wisdom in the space as a collective, because again, and I said I would say it a lot, we're stronger together. So I'm looking forward to just continuing to make a difference as a collective. Okay, so that brings me to the final slide. So I'm just going to share that and bring in our final collaborator. So I'm just going to share my screen. So, as touched upon, Chris Bills has been in the crypto space for a while, and I think it's a nice lead on from what Gabrielle said. For me, crypto is all about financial inclusion. There's a lot of elements around blockchain that's about financial inclusion. And of course, with my background being about financial well-being and financial empowerment and money mindfulness, it made sense, of course, for me to be interested in crypto, to invest in crypto. And Chris is someone who has helped me a lot to understand the space, because I'm very much focused on the blockchain, business, entrepreneurial element. But as a private investor, I obviously understood a lot, but it's great to have someone who can teach you more. And there's always someone in this space who can teach you more. And Chris is definitely that person for me. Being, as Tessie put it, the face, lead, head of Women in Blockchain Talks, a lot of people do ask me about crypto. And I have been advocating more for blockchain and the career aspects and the opportunities. But what I'm coming to learn is that there are a lot of individuals, particularly women, who really want to learn more about crypto, but they just don't know who to ask, who to trust. And so one of the things that we're looking to do in the future is to bring more of a crypto element into the membership, more so than the community, but more so into the membership, even though we do talk about elements of crypto within the community. And so because Chris is, someone I trust and who I've worked with for a while, I was intrigued and very, how can I put it now, inspired by a project. I should say that Chris is the CMO of a token called Suki, and I have chosen to collaborate with Chris and for Suki to be a token of choice within the Women in Blockchain Talks community. Now, that's not to say everybody in the community has to purchase this, but I definitely would hope, since they're asking me the question, that they will look at this as a resource. So let me just go to the next slide. Now, there's many reasons why, which I can't go into right now, why Suki and working with Chris is a choice for Women in Blockchain Talks, a token of choice of Women in Blockchain Talks, outside, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, which most people know about. And I love what Suki stands for, and I'm going to let Chris talk about that. I love the efforts that are being made in regards to the Suki mission. I love the giving nature of Suki. As you can see, just recently, $1 million in Suki tokens was given to the Trevor organization. The Trevor organization is an LGBT organization that helps to prevent suicide within the LGBTQ community. And there are some big names who are backing Suki, which includes Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys and Lance from
NSYNC.
NSYNC, thank you very much. I was a Westlife fan. So with that being said, I'm going to let Chris just talk about his journey in crypto. And, I just want to say the reason why I wanted Chris on this webinar today, part of this panel today, is because we're celebrating Father's Day as part of this event. And Chris, and he will touch on this, is a father of girls. And he also has a heart for everyone. It's very refreshing to meet someone like Chris. And of course, in this short conversation, in this short presentation, it's difficult for you to see the heart. But I have watched him over a year and a half, and I see the way that he's so inclusive. I see the way that he is so amplifying and elevating of everybody in his space, in his community, and how he supports women to have a voice in crypto, within Suki, and within the projects that he does. And so without further ado, let's talk, Chris, or take the stage and just share your story and why Suki? Why Suki?
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Beautiful. Well, first off, absolute pleasure to be here, Lavinia. You know where my heart stands with you and where you stand in my heart. We've built such a great relationship, and we've had our battles, we've had our loves, and we've had our fun times, right? And so that's what this is all about. You guys are doing something so amazing here. And I believe that empowerment is probably the biggest word I could pull out of my mouth today on just this whole thing, right? Empowering people, empowering others. And so just to give you a brief background of myself, I've been in the networking space for over 10 years, had a lot of success at a very young age, and grew a lot, right? I call myself a trial and error expert. And I think if we can own up to the errors and learn through those, we'll get to where we always want to go. But being in the crypto space for a little over 5 years now, and when I started, it was probably a similar journey than people will have today or that you've had before. And it's simply looking at Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, some of the popular ones that have been popular for years, and just throwing a few dollars at it here and there and hoping for the best. I think that's what naturally has drawn a lot of people to this space, was the fact that you can be successful or earn crypto or money. But then you take it to that blockchain side and you start talking about smart contracts. And so that's kind of where the doors open. Everybody wants to earn because they understand how lucrative the crypto space can be. But when you start to really put your head down and learn this industry and this space and what blockchain technology can do for the economy and the world together, that's what really should be the focus. And I know that's where we're headed. And it's just a beautiful thing. I've always led with, understanding this space with 3 different pillars that I lead with my community and people. And that's learn, grow, and earn in this space. And like I said, I think a lot of people, almost, all of us, come into this space because we see how lucrative it can be. But if you don't learn and grow, then you can't get that earning side. That, obviously it can happen, but I think the learning and growing side is huge in this space. And being able to collaborate with people like all of you ladies and everybody around the world becomes a bigger and better place, because this is such a new thing for everybody. You guys are talking about trying to interpret different languages and different cultures and just different communities. And that's so huge. But the one thing that we all have to understand is we're all in this together, learning so much as crypto and blockchain and all this is such a new language that it takes all of our eyes to look at projects. It takes all of our efforts to brainstorm and come together. And so just to backstep a little bit, back in last year, one of the craziest years we've ever had in our lives, right? I wanted to step my game up in the crypto space because I understood that this is the future and this will be a big part of our lives. And so I thought to myself, on June 25th of 2020, when I was already about 4 or 5 years into the space, that I wanted to learn about blockchain. I wanted to learn so much about this space and then be able to teach it, because I knew that so many people don't have a full grasp of it, but everybody wants to learn this because they understand once they see it, once they feel it and hear it, it is a very big deal and can literally move mountains and change economies around the world. And that's what we need. And that light bulb shined so bright last year, especially during that time, because of the time we live in, in the world that's, we live in today. And so I took it upon myself to team up with some people, and we just wanted to start a crypto educational course, right? And so kind of moving forward into that, that's where Lavinia ended up finding me. And we started just teaching people along the way. And again, we had a lot of trial and error. We had, the ups and downs, but that's what built us to today. I'm able to provide for my family and friends and, donating to charity, on an often basis. And, I couldn't even have dreamed of this just a little over a year ago. So when you collaborate and connect with the right people and have the right intentions and leading with your heart, there is nothing that can stop you. I'm a true testimonial to that. And just being real and transparent, which is very rare to find in this industry. And so I believe if you can lead with those and just do your best on researching and learning and finding the people that are wanting to do that with you, the sky's the limit. And so we've done lots of projects. We've had lots of success, lots of fun. We've empowered a lot of people. I've even helped coordinate women groups, right, to just be a part of some of our projects, which I love, and I think it's just a huge, huge part of this space, because we want everybody and anybody to feel welcome and to feel empowered to do something with their own lives in this space. And I believe it's definitely there and will happen for anybody who wants it to. And so coming into this year, as we were doing some projects, just started really learning the different types of tokens and different types of blockchains and how these different networks work, like the Ethereum blockchain and the Tron blockchain and all these different sides of it. It's very capable to do so much. And so, I was actually introduced to Suki, as Lavinia mentioned, a project that we've now taken the world by storm with in a very small time. And it's my background's big in marketing, so I was attracted to that because of what it was and what they represented. But at first, it wasn't everything it is now, right? It really developed in a huge way so fast, with the connections and the collaborations and the people, right? The people, that's the most important part, is the community. This whole space is very community driven. Yeah. And that's where it all comes down to. It is being able to collaborate and be a part of something bigger than even ourselves and help impact charitable events and lives around us. And that's what Suki represents. And I just love to be a part of it. I'm the CMO, so I handle a lot of the marketing and the partnerships. And as you saw, one of the photos there was me, Nick, and Lance. The relationship that I've been able to develop with those two gentlemen is amazing, right? But we've got so many entrepreneurs and celebrities and athletes and just very reputable but recognized people also coming together inside a community of people who just want to learn, grow, and earn. These people, these ladies and gentlemen that are coming to the table to be a part of Mission Suki is very, very, very remarkable, because they want to learn, grow, and earn just like me and you do, right, as everyday people. And so Suki is definitely giving back. We had an amazing event, was one of our big, mainly like a kickoff event just last weekend in Los Angeles. For the LA, it was an LA Pride event for the LGBTQ community. And we were able to donate $1 million worth of Tikinu tokens, which is Suki's main source for their ecosystem, right? And we were able to donate that to the Trevor Project, which, like Lavinia said, is a project that is helping with suicide prevention within the LGBTQ community. And so it's really amazing to be able to give back at that level, right? I mean, like I said, pinch me every day, because it's just unbelievable to be in this position. But it all has to do with the people we surround, the projects that we're working with, and this space that we're working with. It wouldn't be possible because with crypto and blockchain, everything is so instant and fast globally, right? It's not your typical style of fundraising or charitable events that can happen with your average dollar or your banking system. That so the cryptos really changed the game for us to be able to empower that side of it, right? So again, I think the number one thing is it's education. We have to keep continuing to teach everybody and just help them, point them in the right direction. Crypto, you can fall down, some YouTube rabbit holes when you're learning crypto. And so having people like everybody on this panel and just the people around us in these communities can really help guide you. But one thing I wanted to highlight that you guys also spoke about was sharing your experience. I'm basically sharing a very brief experience of what I've had. But if you're able to share your experience in blockchain, share your experience in crypto, and relate with so many people, because I'll tell you right now, 99% of people in the world want to know more about crypto. They just like you said, Lavinia, you just don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And so as we grow into the crypto space and the blockchain space and really educate people, I think it's very crucial to run campaigns and empowerment, sessions like this, because we're only going to get stronger together, just like you keep saying. And I love that. I absolutely love that. I work my butt off to just deliver blockchain and crypto messages around the world. I've been traveling the States. I can't wait to travel overseas and out of the country and just continue bringing these strong messages to the world and teaching crypto as much as I can, experiencing the cultures and the communities and everything out there, because we're just getting started, and when you talk about some of the biggest companies working with blockchain, like Coca-Cola, USPS, like really, really big companies that are looking to integrate blockchain technology, they already have, or they're working on doing so. It's only a matter of time when the mass adoption starts to happen. And so I'm very honored and very humbled to be a pioneer in this space, like all of you guys. And so with that, I'm going to toss it back to you, Lavinia. I could go on forever. There's so much that I love to talk about, but I'm going to give it back to you so I don't get out of hand here. It's just a very big pleasure to be able to meet you ladies and work with you guys. I look forward to everything for the future, what's to come.
Thank you so much, Chris. Appreciate you. So with that being said, ladies, can we put your cameras on and just give a one word. What one word would you give to inspire anyone listening to this in the context of what we're talking about? Starting with Linda.
Do the next thing first. So take something that you've heard here and act on it. Because you can hear all kind of great stuff. And if you don't do something differently, nothing's going to change for you.
Yeah. Gabrielle?
I know you said one word, but I think I would say, go to an event. That's how I got involved and, kind of saw the benefit of it. And I think just going to some of the events, taking the first step, opens your eyes to how what you already know and what you do is relevant to this space and teaches you a little bit more about how you can fit into it.
Perfect. Tessie?
My word is always about understanding. Do your own research, understand decentralization, understand tokens and shitcoins, and learn.
And
you're
Quinn?
responsible for yourself.
Yes, we are responsible for ourselves. Quinn?
Yeah, I would say, to follow up with Tessie, learn. Due diligence is really important. Understanding what you're here for and why and what you're really trying to do. Just learn the tech and reach out and engage. So that was a lot more, but I would just say learn then.
Yeah. And Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say one word, right? But yeah, learn, grow, and earn. You know, I dove in and I tried to learn as much as I could. And that's where it got me here today. But I think the more you speak, the more you ask questions, the better you'll get. And then you start answering questions for others. And then the better you even get after that. So just dive in, dive right in.
Okay, well, just to round it off, I'm going to say collaboration because with collaboration comes the conversations, comes the learning, comes the understanding. So collaboration is the word that I would use. So thank you very much.
You forgot Rashawn. I think Rashawn.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Rashawn, I'm so sorry.
I was the last born in my family.
Last, but not least.
You know what? I got another C word for you, and I would say that it's collaborate, but more importantly, you got to connect. So everything that everybody shared, it's the C word, it's connecting, right? So get out there and connect. I would say go with trusted resources. So you're watching this video at home or you're watching us live. So you are seeing, validated resources at this time. So properly connect so that you can ensure the information that you are getting is actionable and you can really do the right thing with it at the right time with the right people. So Women in Blockchain Talks, you got Global DCA, you've got Blockchain Chamber of Commerce, you've got Chris here with NSYNC and the guys and Tusaki, right? So make the right connections, and then allow these folks that have kind of gone before you to light that path. I would highly encourage you to do that. So connect.
Oh, now there's a reason why you went last. Light the path. All right, thank you so much, Quinn, Linda, Chris, Rashawn, Gabrielle, Tessie. Appreciate you all. Bye.
Thank you.